Yo guys, what's up? What's poppin'? This is the Real Talk. We've landed, and I'm your girl Chica. You know how we do. And with me is my paddy.
So, Chica, my name is Anthony, and welcome to today's episode of The Real Talk.
So on the real, we talk about everything that has to do with the real estate industry, as we know it's back home here, and everything in between. So life, everything that just really is worthy of talk is and we keep it live, we keep it real here on The Real Talk. So Anthony, what's popping today?
It's great that we set up a show like this. For me, the goal for this kind of show is to enlighten people, give people something beyond just the four blocks of or the four walls of a property, and it helps them, it gives them some kind of puts them in some kind of informed place where they would make very informed decisions when buying a property. So Chica, today I'm thinking let's do something. We've had Lagos or Nigeria in general in the past 1, 2, 3 weeks, we've seen several series of protests and things like that. So I think it would make sense to at least just pay condolence to those who lost their life during the struggle. And one thing that stuck out for me then was the vandalization that happened. Properties got burned. It was catastrophic. Like it was crazy, man. Properties got burned, houses got burned, businesses got destroyed and things like that, So I think I'd like for us to dedicate this episode to talking about something that is so vital and important, and that I learned or that struck me from those series of protests and how it relates to real estate. And I'm sure insurance. you know what I mean. Insurance.
Yes, that's insurance. So today we'll be talking about insurance. Just like he said, it's really sad. If you took time out to go at the peak of the vandalization, if you had gone through places like Ajah, Lekki, Admiralty, it was absolutely horrendous, heartbreaking to see the loss and devastation that happened in those parts.
It was horrible.
To a large extent, that's the reason why we're saying it's important to have this conversation surrounding insurance. Insurance is the one thing that everybody knows is of value, it's important.
But somehow nobody wants to.
When it gets to the nitty-gritty of it, how many people actually take out an insurance policy on the things that are very valuable to them? So today we're talking home and property insurance, be it where you live, be it your place of business.
Where you work.
Why is it absolutely important, that you have, an insurance policy on a property or on your home? What would you say is the biggest reason for you when it comes to insuring?
For me,
or property that you own?
Right? For me, it's just for the unforeseen or things that you don't envisage. Let's say the hand of God, and if we try to bring that home to Nigeria, normally I would want to say I'll take out an insurance policy on my home for things like an earthquake, hurricane, or things like that. But this vandalization that happened recently in Lagos, I think even human-induced things can, it's some very big reason that you should go out there and get an insurance for your home, because you don't see these things coming. Absolutely. Nobody goes to build a house and say, nobody will destroy my house, or nobody sees this thing coming. They just happen.
Lagos is a city where every now and then we get stories about building collapses.
Yeah, right.
Buildings that are coming to the ground for some structural foundation or integrity
default
issue. And so I think it's also very important. So I was recently reading through, and I saw a statistic that said that about 95, this is a 2017 statistic, so I'm sure the numbers have changed right now.
Right.
But it says as far back as in 2017, about 95% of buildings in Lagos did not have insurance. So every now and then
that's crazy.
See, how Lagos is exploding with new properties
every
new
day.
Developments, but it will shock you to know that quite a huge significant number of those buildings,
a majority,
don't have
an
insurance policy. And so I think this brings it to the fore. Recent happenings, just being alive and you not knowing, you don't know. It could be anything, literally. You don't know what could happen in the next minute.
Trust me.
We know how capital intensive it is
property
to own a property in Lagos.
That's
especially
huge.
if you're in this axis of Lagos.
If you're on the island,
Lagos,
if you're on the island, you know how much it costs to get a property. That's something so
huge. Get a property,
huge.
get the paperwork done, get it all sorted, like be on the good side of the books.
And these guys are going to destroy that property. It's not just the four walls of a house. You have furnitures, you have the interiors, valuables inside the these properties. At the end of the day, it's like crazy, huge sum.
So, but why do you think that people actually do not take out an insurance policy? I have my thoughts, but I'm wondering, why do you think people don't go through the actual motions when it comes to taking out an insurance
Okay, for me first, I think there's a disconnect between the insurance companies and the public.
Okay.
You know, first. So, and I think it's a distrust. People don't actually trust them to. Yeah, it's a trust issue. One, people don't actually trust them sometimes because we know. Quote and unquote doing business in Nigeria, you know, so many discrepancies fly. Things that normally in a Senate climb wouldn't be allowed to thrive because there are policies and agencies that keep them in check. Here, some things fly. You get it end up being a game of you fighting some big entity, but we know our justice system. Let's not even go into all of that. That's one. And then secondly, another reason why I think people don't actually bother to get insurance is I think it's a Nigerian thing. I've spoken to some people. It's a mental thing in this country. Like it's our mentality. Some people think they can actually go through life
without having accidents
and I'm not
or
saying
tragedies happen to them.
I'm not saying that we should open up ourselves to say, negativity. No, it's just being said.
The harsh realities of life.
Yeah. So take for example, people who had their businesses vandalized during the protest.
In a million years, they never would have fought.
That's not an earthquake.
That probably has never happened in 10, 20 years. They never
True.
had any brush up.
Yeah, nobody saw that coming.
Yeah.
It started from some peaceful protest before it got hijacked, and properties, businesses got destroyed along the line. So that's just it. So it's a distrust between the system that's between the insurance company and then the public, and then secondly, it's the Nigerian mentality.
I agree with you. I also think that going forward, it's very important that we begin to see it as a holistic process. So as a person, when you're getting something of value, if you're investing your funds into getting a property right from the get-go, you need to begin to factor in and allocate funds to insurance. That's the only way you will see it through to the end. Some people actually have it in mind, yes, insurance, I'm going to do it. But after you've spent so much money, getting a property, getting it fixed, getting it habitable, then you're like, I'll do it, and it becomes a thing of procrastination. So I think going forward, as you begin to make your budgetary allocations towards getting your property fixed, there has to be a budget for insurance that you see through. You get an insurance company involved from the get-go, even while you're in the foundational stages of getting your property.
I agree with you.
So let's break it now down to the different kinds of insurances that people can acquire. As a homeowner, if I have a rental apartment, should I take out insurance? If I own property, should I take out insurance? What options are available to me?
Okay. From what I've studied, I know that as a homeowner, that if you rent a property, that I think that's a homeowner's insurance, and this is to say that not just people who buy property or outright can actually insure their things or insure a property. So if I rent a property and then I furnish it, have my valuables in them, I can still go out to get, I think it's called homeowner's insurance. And there's also another type for people who, let me just say something. I think for people who take out homeowners insurance, it helps because if you have an issue, maybe if fire outbreak or something, apart from your your property that you're going to get replaced. Let's say that fire gets to some other person's property that is close to you. I think with an homeowner's insurance, it covers even your even your neighbor's properties too. You get, so that's fine. And I think the other one is the property insurance. That's for people who actually own this property, taking out the property insurance on their particular property. You understand? So
just to put this in perspective, say for instance, I have a property, I have a home, and my home is valued at say 10 million naira. All right. And I take out, so I pay a premium. I pay an insurance premium, which is usually a token. Some do as low as 0.25%.
Yeah, sure.
So 0.25% of the value of my home is 25,000 naira. Okay. So if I take out an insurance policy of 10 million naira on my home, every year I get to pay 25,000 naira as my insurance premium. Imagine if I start paying my insurance premium in November and something happens to my house in December. Guys, you get 10 million naira.
True.
The value of your home, you get paid.
True.
Irrespective of the fact that you've only just paid 25,000 naira.
True.
So that's just to put it in perspective, why it is absolutely important that you actually take out a home insurance. Whether you're living in a rental apartment or whether you own the property yourself, whether you're a developer who has, of course, I am sure that developers who have tons of property, they know that they have no choice.
They don't even
to actually take out an
nobody. They don't
because
think of that.
For them, insurance is a whole new level with paperwork issues, with government recalls. There's so much that can happen, to you as a developer who has a string of properties. So they take out a very common, I'm sure, as a complex, insurance policy that they have to put
even
in place
them, knowing that they are open to so many risks, they still treat insurance with some form of levity. They just, people, they don't really put it into cognizance that, okay, this is something that needs to get done. You get. So for me though, guys, irrespective of whether it's some business property you have or your residential property, it's advisable that you get a property insurance on that property if you because this country, so many things can happen. Anything can happen. That's the word. Anything,
so
actually.
what would you say are certain things that I should look out for? If, as a beginner, for instance, I want to get an insurance policy for my home or my property, what are some things I should bear in mind or look out for when taking an insurance policy? What would you say? If
you're going out to take an insurance property, like I mentioned earlier, there's a distrust between in the system. You get, so be sure to, if possible, go with a lawyer, go with someone who understands insurance. Be sure to go through all their terms. Be sure that whatever insurance you get, whatever insurance you get, and for whatever type of insurance you're getting, be certain that if something happens, they are going to cover those things that you have in mind. You get, and also bear in mind that the more your coverage, the more your premium. You get. So if you are having a property and then you're covering maybe everything in the house, the interior, be sure that the gates, everything, the fences, the bathrooms, the toilet. You pay more. That's the truth.
But at least you have peace of mind that if regardless of whatever happens and the extent of damage that you incur, that it's going to be fixed. It's also very important to note that the location of your property also determines how much you pay as your premium. For instance, if you live in places where places are prone to erosion, for instance, if you live somewhere in the east, you actually pay more for insurance because those kind of places, they're more like trouble spots. So if you live in an area that's regarded as a trouble spot, you actually pay more. And also the value of your property matters. So the value of your property also has its effect on what your premium gets to be at the end of the day. So just bear that in mind too, guys. So it's also very important another thing to mention is the fact that certain insurance policies have flexibility. So the onus is now on you to actually check and see what does this insurance policy guarantee me. For instance, you might take out an insurance policy that only covers damage to the property itself, the structural building. How about the values or the valuables inside the building? Does it cover to the current value of the property? If I bought a property and it's 10 million naira now, and in 5 years it's now valued at 25 million naira, is the insurance company going to pay me the current value? Appreciation. Are they going to take up replacements for everything that actually is in that property and pay me current value? I know some of them actually take cognizance of that appreciation, but I think it's not a general rule where they pay you the full appreciation value. I think the cap or the maximum, it's about 25% of that appreciation, something like that. So I think some of them take that into cognizance. So that's why I said, if you're starting out, go with someone who understands. Get your insurance broker to actually spell out all these things for you, so you know what you are doing. Come on, guys. I think it's time you guys should start getting insurance. You know what? People because it's a serious issue. I guess this is one of the reasons why people don't actually, when they hear insurance, they cringe kind of. Because insurance companies there's this dark cloud they have around them in terms of always wanting to find a loophole or finding a way to get away from actually paying you what your insurance cover. I mean, imagine you all these years I've paid insurance for 3 years and something happens to me, I'm hurting, I'm in pain, and they're looking for some trying to find loopholes to actually not pay me. That's a disconnect. That's a distrust that's in the system that even these companies really have to go out to fix. But irrespective of it, guys, please, it is time for you to start getting an insurance for things that are valuable to you, guys. Just to impress upon you guys' minds why it is very important for you to pay insurance. If you look around the globe, internationally, you don't want to go there. There are some celebrities who have taken this insurance in a satire. Like
True.
they're willing to insure the weirdest things that you
True.
wouldn't even imagine.
Think of.
Do you want to run us through some of that? I remember J-Lo. I mean, I'm sure a lot of ladies remember this.
I think
There's a music video she did where the gist came out that she insured her behind. I forget. My love don't cost a thing. They keep me as you. That was the video where she was flaunting the behind. And I think at that point she had just gotten an insurance.
That's crazy though.
Ridiculous figures. I actually wanted to, take some of those stories.
I think this guy, this footballer, David
crazy.
Beckham, I think he got an insurance for his leg.
Right.
And even what's it called? Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo. I think he also got an insurance. The star player, I think Messi also did. I'm not too sure, but I know Ronaldo did. Was this other guy?
Got a huge insurance for her boobs.
Her boobs.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
I mean,
that's crazy, man.
And then I remember there's this other rock singer. I'm trying to remember his name now. That he got an insurance for his. He actually calls it Little Winnie. So like his body part, his lower body part, like
for real.
Penis. He calls it little Winnie, and he got it insured. I think that one is valid.
It's valid. It's valid.
Anthony, it's valid.
There's cases. There are cases of what's it called, domestic violence this day. So if he gets into an altercation or something and loses that
way he's sure that he's
insured.
But wait, what's going to happen? He's going to get replacement surgery?
I don't know. Ask the insurance company. I don't know.
But guys, I mean, if people actually take the time out to actually insure body parts, because I mean, your body parts are valuable. Your life is valuable. So
right.
It's also very important that you take out time to insure. Nobody's saying that properties have the same value as life, but
True.
To an extent, if you're a key player in the industry and you transact in huge, you absolutely even your little bit, you know how you work and sweat for it. So
and you don't have to be a key player. You don't have to be someone who transacts in billions to insure. For me, that's why it's a premium. They calculate it in percentage. You get so. Whether the house is 50 million, whether it's 70 million, they calculate your premium.
Over time,
it's
for a fixed term, so it could be 10 to 20 years. So you're not paying.
Just talk to an insurance company, but make sure you're talking to, because I know some of them are out to look for loopholes to cut you off or something. So do your research, and I'm sure you guys can agree.
You heard.
This is not the time to overlook insurance, guys. So talk to some insurance company about it, guys.
I guess that's it. That's really the essence of what we want to talk about today. Thank you so much for joining us today on Real Talk. We had fun. We didn't mention this at the beginning, but please follow our social media handles.
You would see them.
At the bottom of your screens. Follow us Real Talk on social media, and tell us what you'd like us to talk about.
Leave a comment if there's
something. Guys, we're open to talking about literally anything. Whether it pertains to real estate or not. Would be willing to talk about literally anything on the Real Talk.
This show, it's, for me, I want to call it a bridge between real estate and life. So anything it's related to real estate. If there's anything you'd like for us to talk about, just leave a comment, send a message, and be sure we're going to have a conversation about it, guys. So until next time, bye-bye from here.